There's actually nothing that you're actually doing because you're not at work, you are a good candidate for a side hustle. We always say time is money. And so that time that you have free in your hands might be time that we might want to convert into cash, and that's why we need a side hustle. If you're somewhere and you can see opportunities coming in, so you can actually see there's a possibility here, there's a possibility here, then you're obviously a candidate for a side hustle. And then to summarize, we're saying, if you've seen the danger of a single income stream, you have seen, yes, I have a single income, and something can happen and stop this income stream. People get retrenched, people retire, people get fired, businesses go down, businesses close, businesses burn. And many times it's not your fault. We have seen new infrastructure coming and people have to give way. We've seen markets being demolished. We've seen fires and businesses coming to an end. So we're saying this is why we'll be a candidate. So there are very many people who are candidates. My listener, I don't know whether you can see where you fall, where you are a candidate. I don't know you can realize that you are a candidate. And last time we said, even as you're looking at the side hustle, it is always important to say, can I get more in what I'm doing now? Is there a possibility, just before I even look at something else, can I look at what I'm doing? So if you're an employee, it's always good to ask yourself, is there a possibility of a pay rise in my job? What would I need to do to get that pay rise? What about a promotion? Is that a possibility? Can I get promoted? Because a promotion comes with more income. Can I change the job? Can I move to another employer? That's a possibility. And so you ask yourself, what do I need to do to realize that possibility? Do I need to go back to school? Do I need to put in more time? Do I have to work smarter? Do I have to work harder? What do I have to do to get that promotion? If you're self-employed, yes, there's a possibility that you can actually have more income. You can expand your business, you can go into another business line. And that's why you're saying you're looking at the time you have and you're saying, am I using all the time? You're looking at the opportunities you have and you're wondering, am I using all that opportunity? So that now we can actually be able to say, having looked at that, what can I use to financial wellness? And we talk to people and people say, well, the employer can only pay me X. I can't push so much. And we always say, yes, that's true. The employer does not set up their business so that they actually pay you. They set up their business largely so that they can make a profit. And after they make the profit, now they can afford to pay somebody. So that's why we have to ask ourselves, what can I do? And the answer is, what can I use to create a side hustle? It's very interesting. The answer is always within yourself. We always say, you know what we call a Moses question? God asked Moses, what do you have?
What do you have?
Yes, that is a question we always have to ask ourselves. How do I know what I have? It's very easy. Because surprisingly, all the people you work with, all the people you are around, they actually in a way or the other tell you what you have. So if you consider, what do you enjoy doing? What is that you actually find yourself you enjoy doing? Maybe you are a storyteller. You like telling stories. You like writing. You like farming. You like whatever you like. And whatever you like, you know, when you do it, people give you an affirmation.
Passionately.
Yes, they give you an approval. They give you an endorsement, you know. If they asked who can you recommend, they will actually give you a name. They acknowledge you. They tell you, hapo uko mbele sana. And they encourage you. They tell you, keep doing that. That gift you have, that talent you have, can you do more about it? And they'll give you an applause when you do it. Have you seen in a place you do something, people clap for you? Or you know, or they give you a pat on the back. Somebody comes and gives you a hug, gives you a pat on the back. They give you a thumbs up, you know. They congratulate you. They mention you. What is that you do? That's where the key is. If you actually know what that is, if you've tested and you've seen what people are telling you, hapo uko sawa. Maybe you fixed a meal and they were very happy. You handled a situation, you know, there was a conflict and you handled the situation. You did not think you're doing a great job. You started some small farming and you can see people are saying, hapa uko mbele sana. That is where it is. So it is important that we check what it is. It could actually be some knowledge you have. So you must be able to pick out, what is this knowledge that I have that people are saying, it's very good that you know that. It could be a skill you have. And we have very many skills. There are people who are gifted in speech. You know, you speak very well. There are people gifted in counsel. You counsel people very, very well. There are people who are gifted in showing people. You coach people very well. You play a musical instrument very well, you know. All those, you cook very well, all those. It could be a talent, something that you very, very natural. You have a natural ability. You do it with minimum ease. You've been asked to chair a meeting and you share it so well that things get organized in a way. Something where you're very, very effective. You're very, very effective. It could be some place you have an experience. You have an experience better than other people. So they actually come to you for counsel because you have some experience. And this would come maybe from your family, your education, sometimes your vocation, what you do. It could actually be from some pain you suffered in the past and you're able to overcome and you're able to help other people. An area whether you have a hobby, and I know, Chris, you said you're passionate, something you're very, very passionate about. It could be some challenges that you have looked at before and you've been able to deal with. That could be where it is. And it's so easy to see, if you look at a few examples that we have seen over time. I've seen somebody, he's a HR manager, but he's very gifted in speech. So a lot of times, he's actually even become an MC. And becoming an MC, he realized all I need is to have a band and a sound system. Can you see a side hustle? Straight.
Making extra
That when you're not doing your HR job, and it is an event, you can actually now come with your sound system and you have a band. So you're not only becoming an MC, you know a band is people you're hiring, isn't it?
Sure.
And you have sound system. I've seen a banker who loves guard dogs. So he's actually got guard dogs. So over the weekend you're going to find him at the dog show. And obviously, if you've been in the space of guard dogs, you know there's quite a bit of money in that space. You will sell them for money. I've seen a high school teacher who's very good at knitting sweaters. You know, in this cold weather, if somebody did knitting nicely for you and they brought it to you, I'm sure you're going to buy it. I've seen a young executive who is a golfer, and he has chosen to teach other members how to play golf, newcomers into the golf space. So he knows how to play golf. He's a young executive. I've actually seen another young executive. He's gone to schools and he convinced parents that he can actually tutor their children on how to play golf in the morning. I've seen an administrator who runs a salon. You are an administrator in the office, but you own a salon and you hire people. I've seen somebody who's a driver, but they run a shop. Okay, I've seen an engineer who has a restaurant. So you can actually see people have all these side hustles, and there are very, very many opportunities out there. You could actually see the opportunity in the taxi system. You buy a taxi and you give it to a management company. You can have a matatu and you give it to a management company. Or how many people are running Airbnb? So
Quite a number.
See the possibilities are there. The possibilities are obviously very, very many out there. So there are common possibilities of side hustle. So you could be a speaker. So there are many speaking forums if you think about it. If you have the knowledge and the skills, there are people who want to listen to you at church, in the school, group of friends, you know, corporates. They're all looking for people to speak. So if you're good in speaking, trust me, they pay speakers. And outside your normal job, you might find yourself speaking about something. There are people who are in teaching, so you run teaching. We just talked about a young man who's teaching kids how to play golf. I've seen an older man who is actually, no, a younger person actually, teaching people mother tongue. You know, there are so many people who actually now want to learn their mother tongue. And for some reason, maybe they lived in an urban setup or they lived outside the country and they are struggling, but they want to actually know this language. And then, yeah, there are people who are teaching mother tongue to people outside the country because now we have all this technology. You can learn a Zoom class. I've seen a young person, very creative, teaching English to people from Sudan. You know, they want to learn English and English is not their first language. So you might find there are people who want to learn the language. Yeah, I've seen somebody very interesting. This person now knows Chinese. And what are they doing? They're actually interpreting for Chinese entrepreneurs. As part of your side hustle, you can write. Maybe you are a good writer. You can actually find yourself writing a journal, writing a blog, writing a column for a newspaper, writing a column for a magazine. You can even write a book. That's a possibility. You can actually be able to do that. The coaching is another big space. If somebody is thinking about establishing a side hustle, there are very many things that people are looking for coaching in, and you can coach them. If you are good at something, you can actually coach other people. Social media actually gives us a lot of other possibilities, and we have seen people who do a lot of things on social media, music, jokes, curating content and putting it on there, on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram, on X. So there are big possibilities out there, and web-based side hustles are also a possibility. You can do a webinar, you can do an e-school, an e-book, you can have a Facebook class, and you can actually do handcraft. There are people who are gifted, they do things with the hand. Maybe you're very, very good with calligraphy, that you know, even though we have all these computers, we have AI, calligraphy is still a possibility. There are people who want things done well. Art is a possibility. It's another big possibility out there. So art is a possibility. You might be gifted in drawing, in designs, and some stuff like that. Maybe you make sculptures, you do knitting, so that's a possibility. So if you look at that, you can see big possibilities. There could be passion. There's a man, I don't know whether, I don't see him a lot nowadays, maybe you're not very keen. There's the football fan in this country, it's called Jero Soja. He's one of the biggest Gor Mahia fans.
He's still around.
Oh, he's still around. I've not seen him for a while. And I remember him for his green bicycle. He's part of the Green Army.
He got a car.
He's so
It's still green.
that when the car is green, that when Harambee Stars was doing the international travels and everything, he actually got opportunity to travel with them every now and then. Of course, an allowance came with that. So you can actually see somebody who is very, very good at that. In the social media space, we have people we call the big wigs. You know, you have got a big following until you're paid for your following. I've seen a lady, like I said earlier, who's got a nice domestic pet dog, this Japanese Spitz. And when it gets puppies, she sells the puppies. I talked about the banker who has a guard dog. I've talked about people who are in the space teaching language, English, vernacular, whatever. I think we look at our space. That's what we say, what do you have in hand? You might be very good at making cakes, and there's a lot of people looking for confectionery. You could be an MC, in events, and there are many MCs. And just, Chris, for you to know what we're saying. I've seen a lady, she's an elderly lady, she's a mother of 9. When you're a mother of 9, you've got serious experience in mothering. And she gets invited to schools to talk to young mothers. Now she has found something interesting. She's a lactating expert. When mothers get babies for the first time, they need a bit of lessons. And that's exactly where she comes in. And that's not a bad side hustle. I've seen people who know how to play the piano. And you can actually get other people to learn to play the piano. Okay, cooking. I think there's a lot of space in cooking that you can actually be able to do. We talked about farming. You can actually do farming. Now there's even urban farming, and I've seen people who are helping people put up those structures for urban farming. You can farm in a sack. You can farm in a container. There's academic writing. I still think it is there. You can help people do academic writing there. You can do forex trading. That's a possibility. You can do bitcoins. That's another possibility. So we can actually say there are as many possibilities as people are looking out for possibilities. But there are things we want to say. I think it is important for us to avoid. Even if we want to get to this space, there are things we want to avoid. I think the first thing is you cannot get into a side hustle that is going to conflict with your job.
Okay.
You can't be in digital space in your office and you're doing digital work on your own. You can't work for a legal office and you're running your own legal office. You're going to have a lot of conflict. So as you set up, just be sure there's no conflict. Because if there's conflict, you're going to have a problem with the employer. The other one is for sure, it cannot be a criminal activity. You cannot make a criminal activity your side hustle. So it must be something that is not going to be criminal in nature. It is clean, that can be done. The third thing is it should not be something that conflicts with your faith. You can't run a side hustle that's conflicting with your faith, conflicting with your family. It's not going to go anywhere. It is going to destroy you. You cannot go into a side hustle that's not building your image. We cannot be seeing dual personality. You're doing this, you're doing this. So you must think about your image. So you must not do things just for image. The other thing, don't just do something for money.
Okay.
Just because it's giving you money. I mean, there are so many bad things that give people money. Do we want to get into those bad things? We want to say no. We also want to avoid this side hustle. We don't want to do a lot with our relatives. Just like we said earlier on, don't bring in a lot of your relatives into your business. Relationships get very, very complicated. And when things don't work, you can have enmity going for generations. I'm sure you've seen families where there's enmity for generations. This is how they get created. They say familiarity breeds contempt. Yeah, so that's why we should stay away. And as you get into your side hustle, be careful where you get the money. Don't just go and take expensive credit and put it in your side hustle. You might find the side hustle is not paying it. And if the side hustle is not paying it, and you have credit, then you're going to struggle a lot with that. So I think that way we've seen what to avoid, what we call the do's and the don'ts. We have seen common possibilities, and there are very many possibilities out there that we can actually be able to look at. And so now we want to say, so what tells me I'm ready? What will tell me that I'm ready to get into this side hustle? But I know you might have a comment or you might have a question from our listeners.
Yeah, I have quite two concerns. Somebody's asking, how do you balance the two without having a conflict? Or maybe you are employed, and what if your boss is not able to embrace you with your side hustle? Then the other one asks, from where you sit, do you say we are all tailored to have and nurture a side hustle?
Okay, so I answer the second one first. No.
Not everybody.
Not everybody. Not everybody. We must be honest with ourselves. Broadly in life, we form two categories. We have extroverted people, we have introverted people.
Okay.
The extroverted people are likely to get into side hustles, which are going to involve other people. Okay. The introverted people might want to just stay within themselves. So we are not all created to go into side hustle, because side hustle is going into business. And what does it require for you to go into the business side? Two things. You must be a risk taker.
Risk taker.
So if you're not a risk taker, whatever you're going to start doing is a risk. It might work, it might fail. Okay. The other thing is you must be a marketer. Whatever side hustle you go into, whatever service you give, you must be ready to market. So if you're not a risk taker and you're not a marketer, unless you learn the skills, that's not for you.
Okay.
I think we can be able to answer that. The first question was?
What if your boss is not able to embrace you?
Yes.
And then
how does the boss get to know? That's a simple question.
Because you see now, in this scenario,
there's something you're supposed to do, you're not doing. So there's already conflict. Otherwise, how does my boss know that I have guard dogs at home and I go for the dog show on Saturday? How does my boss get to know? Because sometimes your boss is happy to know that you're not an idler, that you're not doing nothing. Even your boss wants you to be active and doing something. If your boss learned that when you leave the office, you sleep over the weekend, the whole weekend you're under the blankets, are you a good worker, really?
What if it could be a bait to to entice you and then tell you, oh, kumbuko na hii, nenda kafanya hiyo?
Again, your relationship with your boss. Your boss might be somebody who's building you up, you might not mind. Your boss might be something who doesn't want to see you do those things. I think it's a personal decision, but your boss is likely going to get to know you're doing it. If, for one thing, you're using company resources to do it. Company resources includes company time.
Okay.
You're doing it on the company computer. You're doing it on the company phone. within the working hours, your customers are coming to the office or they are calling you away from the office. Now, if that's happening, then you have conflict. And if you have conflict, then obviously your boss will want to stop you from doing that. But there are many things you'll do and your boss is going to encourage you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. This last one is our Kenyan systems. Are we wired to embrace more than one job like our fellow people out there in diaspora?
It is need that drives people.
Oh, the need.
That the people in the diaspora are like doing 2 jobs.
Okay.
No. But the amount of money they need to pay just to live, you know, I mean, if you work with the diaspora, especially the Western world, people even live in a car. They can't afford a house. You know, here we're not there. We can still afford a house.
We can afford.
We don't even live in a car. So they don't take a couple of jobs because they love it.
Okay.
I mean, can you imagine you've taken 2 jobs, your spouse has taken 2 jobs, you exchange keys on the way. You know, they are giving you the key to the house as you go, as they come in, and you're not even seeing each other. That's not the natural process of doing things. Not that they like it, but because they actually have to raise money to do a couple of things, that's why they do those things. So here, it's not wiring, it is need. Do we have the need?
The need.
Those who have seen the need have actually embraced it. Because there are a lot of people in this country who actually have side hustles. They might be silent about it, but they are nicely doing it. There are people doing farming. You know, you find somebody is working in the office, he's got a watermelon farm someplace. He's doing some watermelon farm someplace. He's got some piggery. They are doing some piggery someplace. And eventually they are running a restaurant or something like that. So it is not wiring. It is a need-based thing. Did we say the needs? Yes, we said the needs. So if our listener was with us, what did we say? We actually identified who are we talking to. If your current bills are challenging your current income, so what's your option? That's the exact thing the people in the West have. That the bills they have to pay. I mean, in many places, the cost of just rent, the cost of healthcare, the cost of travel is so high that you need more than one income. So you can actually be able to get one income. What we don't have here is like being an employee in 2 organizations at the same time. I think that we don't have here largely. Because we tend to work 8 to 5 generally for most of us. And that is where you can't be working 8 to 5. Then you go to another organization because you're also working 8 to 5. But as things move, we are going to find ourselves, yes, you worked 8 to 5, but then in the evening you sat and you did academic writing for somebody. So it is you who has looked for something to do. If your cost of living is going up, you find you're spending more money, but your income is constant, you are a candidate for side hustle. You must ask yourself, what else? Where else do I get this extra money? We said if you have expanding responsibilities, there were things you were not doing before. The child has gone to kindergarten, the child is going to school. You are not paying fees before. Now you have to pay the fee. You're not paying for medical care. Now you have to pay. You're not paying rent. Maybe you're a young person, you're staying at home. Now you have moved out. You have rent to pay. You know, you've even had strange terms like garbage collection, which you never knew before. Isn't it? And security. Now, if you have taken up a new hobby, and it requires a bit of money, you want to do a bit of, you want to be a biker. Now, those bicycles will cost you money because you have to maintain. You can't have somebody, you need to have some extra money going around you. So if you have goals and you see in your goals and you say, hey, for me to be able to do these goals, I need to do a bit more. So you can actually see we are not wired, but need creates the necessity.
Okay.
That answers
that one.
That answers the person.
Sure.
So let's see what tells you are ready. Because sometimes we actually wonder what tells you are ready. Because you might have been there, you're wondering, do I start, don't I start? There are 5 sort of signs that tell you that now you're ready. And the first sign is very interesting, that you have found yourself seeking and you value silence. You know, you used to like noise and loud matatus.
Sure.
Now for some reason you don't seem to like that noise. And you like being alone. You don't like a lot of noise. You don't want noisy people. You don't want to noisy places. Your love for nature has come through. That you can actually just take a walk. You can actually go to Karura on your own. If you've seen that and you're enjoying fresh air, now you started seeing, in the evening you can actually walk out and see the stars. You never saw them before. something is shifting in you. And it is telling you, I think it is time that you feel that rejuvenation. It is speaking to you that now you can actually feel the wind in your face. That is a sign something is happening, and that is telling you, that thinking is telling you to think through what's the potential that you have. What is the potential you are not utilizing? So if you found yourself, you used to enjoy noisy music, now you don't anymore. You know, you used to enjoy a noisy company. Now you're craving for nature. You want fresh air. You want free space so that you can be able to think. You started getting yourself in walks, you know, in rides, and you want to be out there. That rejuvenation you're feeling, that energization and energy you're feeling is telling you something. That's an indicator. The other one sign is you are raising the bar. You're not just accepting things kawaida. You started noticing things are not kawaida. You know the people who go to a restaurant and they look at the cup and they see it is not clean. Not everybody does.
He's in that condition.
That is telling you something. You are raising the bar. You started seeing that things can be better than they are.
Okay.
You know, even in your own house, there were things you were accepting, now you're not accepting. You are raising the bar. You no longer accept mediocrity in your life. You know? And yeah, you started getting annoyed. When the matatu guy drives on the curb, you get annoyed. Why can't he stay on the road? And you wonder what's wrong with it. Because you're tired of being average. You know you are meant for better. And this time you're looking at yourself, you're saying, I want better things. I want better quality. You found you dressing differently. You did not mind just dressing. Now you take time. You sit at your wardrobe and you're saying, do these colors crash? Are they matching? Okay? Are the accessories right? You know something, you keep wondering, why am I so sensitive now? Yeah, it is telling you something is happening. That's another sign to tell you something is happening. You must be ready for that. The other is what we call boundaries. You have started to create and strengthen boundaries in your life. You don't keep saying yes to everything.
No.
People invite you and you happily say no, and you're not feeling guilty of saying no. Now you have found that you need your own time, you need your own presence, you need to focus on your activities. So when people invite you for a meeting, for an event, you have found it easier to say no without feeling guilty. That is speaking to you. It is telling you, you have accepted that you can actually move to another level. And the third sign is something we call spiritual awakening. You are eager to learn new things. You have found yourself curious, and you're curious for longer. And you have found it necessary to keep improving yourself. Surprisingly, now you started reading. You know, you have understood things like Coursera. You're looking at new courses, new things are important for you. You have started listening to coaches. When you go to YouTube or social media, you're actually listening to motivationals. You know, you're feeling a deep sense of spiritual awakening. That is something deep inside you that is connecting with the divine. You know, you're actually taking time to pray. You're never a prayerful person. You're connecting, you're meditating. You found yourself being spiritual. You're reading spiritual texts. You found yourself reading the Bible. You're not reading. This awakening is leading to you to re-examine your purpose. That's what is driving you. You have found you have a purpose. And you're called to be more, and you want to make a bigger impact in people's lives. Very interesting things that happen. Sometimes you notice them and you're wondering what is happening. And the last one I can say is that now you look like you're ready for bold steps. You're daring. You have started taking some bold steps, you know. You are taking baby steps, things that are scary, things that you could not dare before. And this is why you're finding it easier to start looking, do I want to make a tuck shop? Do I want to start something new? And you're determined. You have that feeling you had of self-doubt is going away. A lot of times when you're there, you know, before what was stopping you was self-doubt. Now that voice of self-doubt is dying out. And you're putting in more positive to kill it and kill it more. So even when you feel alone, you don't get worried. And you're actually finding yourself in a place where you can ask for guidance. You can ask for direction. You know, the days you used to get lost and you're not asking for direction. Now you don't want to go without asking direction. You want to find out, is there a place for somebody like me? So you need to prepare for that place that you're going. It is a good place that you're going, and that is why you need to prepare for that engagement. So you always say to yourself, do I have the knowledge for where I want to go? that knowledge. Can you be able to gather it? Do I need to read a book? Do I go for a seminar? Do I go back to college? This is the thing that tells you that bachelor's you didn't do. This is the time for it. That master's, that PhD you stopped. This is the time for it. Okay. This is what tells you you are supposed to be a professional, and there's a professional course in your line that you've not taken. And surprisingly, this is the time you find people looking for a mentor or a life coach. You know, you want somebody to help you to the next level. And you start volunteering. You find yourself easier to volunteer. So you're looking at the knowledge so that you can get more knowledge. You're also looking at the skills and saying, so what's the skill I don't have? What's stopping me? Maybe I need to have a driver's license. And you find yourself in driving school, although maybe you don't even have a car.
Mm-hmm.
You find yourself going there. You might find yourself doing things that you did not think a lot. You have started getting in love with cooking. You even going on YouTube to look at how to make some recipe here and there because you need that skill. You might now feel the urge for some musical instrument. You always had the piano. There was a piano in the house or a guitar. You never played it. So you felt that skill. You felt, oh, I need to know how to sell. I need to know how to speak to people. Have you seen people go for public speaking? This is the thing that pushes people to public speaking. Again, you might need to buy a book or go for a seminar, do some stuff on YouTube, get a coach, get a life coach. And this preparing for that engagement means enlarge your network. Who knows you for what you do? That becomes very, very important. And it's very easy to get people to know who you are for what you do. This is why we volunteer. I tell people volunteer. When you volunteer, people are going to know you. If there's a committee in your church, why don't you join the committee? Bring yourself there. Be of service. Volunteer to teach Sunday school. Volunteer to be an usher. Volunteer to do something. Don't just sit at the pew. There's work to be done, Christ is what? The harvest is imprinted. The harvesters are few. Become part of the harvester. Have a social presence. This is why you find people going even to social media. You create nice accounts, people can be able to follow you. You go to the gym, you go to the club. I always say, when you go to the gym, surprisingly, you're only going to find serious people. Jokers don't go to the gym. You're going to get yourself talking to serious people, and that's what you're looking at. And we need to say, for me to be engaged, I need to be a team player. What stops you from being a team player? It is your anger. You get so angry so easily. You can't be a team player if you're getting angry so easily. So you must look for ways for your anger management. Stress, if you're so stressed, you must look for a way to deal with your stress so that you have the people skills, you have social presence. There are people where there's a group of people and you're there and people are not noticing you. You must tell yourself, what is it? Is it the way I talk? Is it the way I dress myself? What is stopping me from getting noticed? And this is why one of the bigger things is working around what we call our self-worth, our paradigm, our attitude. And you're saying, I want to be the person who can always see the half full glass, not the half empty one. So motivational books will be good for me. Listening to audios, listening to reading, listening to audios, being out there, practicing being active in life. Because if I'm active in life, these things will happen for me. And that side hustle is going to fly. And the extra shilling I was looking for is going to come through. And you know what? Over time, that side hustle becomes the main hustle. Yes. If you give it the right focus, one day, you now become an employer.
Okay. Yeah. Wow.
And for our listener, by the way, surprisingly, this is part of the things we teach in the masterclass.
Okay.
It's good for them to know this is something we teach. We don't have a class tonight. We are on half year break? Sorry, half term.
Mid-term.
We are on mid-term. Yes. We are on mid-term this week. We resume next week. Then if you want to join us next week, you're always welcome to join us. We are going to look at investments, and I know people are looking at investments. This week, I've gotten a lot of questions. I think yesterday, was Mansa X, they gave their returns, and people have a lot of questions. And if you come in next week, we will answer some of those questions.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, if you want to join us, we always say it's very, very easy. You just need to send a text or a WhatsApp to 0708 150-137. When I say join us, we have a training program. It's called the Wealth Creation Masterclass. We train on Tuesdays in the evening and Thursdays in the evening. It is on Zoom, so you can actually access it from anywhere. But if you want a personal consultation session, you can always get in touch because there are many things people are looking for help on.
Okay.
Whether it is debt, whether it is investments, if you actually even want to know that Mansa X, what it is, 0708-150-137, and we can be of help.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Wahome, for your time. Somebody's asking as you're going away, is it an offense to acquire knowledge at an old age or maybe deciding to go back to school?
The Swahili people have an interesting way of answering this question. Hujafa hujaumbika. As long as you are alive, you have the capacity for more. And there's nothing like old age.
There's nothing like old age.
Old age, you still need new knowledge.
Okay.
The knowledge you had when you were young is not valid. You must remember how many people did not have cell phone when they were.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. How many people had that nice Motorola?
Wow.
What's working today? Now, even if you're old, you need AI. In fact, I've seen this discussion that they are putting almost everything online. You can get your birth certificate, your every certificate. Now, if you do not know how to go online, how do you get your driving license from NTSA? So you need to actually keep updating yourself.
How do you...
Hujafa
hujaumbika.
Yes.
Mr. Wahome speaking Swahili right here.
I'm Kenyan, I speak Swahili.
Thank you very much for your time, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, our listener. We really delight being with you, and we have no doubt we want to be together another time. God giving us chance.
Okay.
Have a great week. Stay safe.
And thank you very much for your time as well, and have a good day as well. Stand by for the news coming up in a short while. It's now 9:01.
You are listening to Radio Omini, the Catholic